Hello and welcome back to my farm. Now today's video is all about where to find the things, and I'm starting in my fishing area. Now I love being in my fishing area and I love going to my lure workbench and making lures. The only problem is sometimes I run out of space in my tackle box. Now let's have a look at the tackle box and see the reason why. Okay. My tackle box says I have a storage of 130 and I am maxed out. So I either need to start using some of these lures or I need to increase my storage capacity. To do that, I click on the button at the bottom and this will then show me this image here. I need nails, screws and wooden panels. And for my next upgrade, I'm going to need 23 of each of the items. Now every upgrade will require one additional item for each of those. So the next time I decide to upgrade this tackle box, I'm going to need 24 of those items. Now, how many extra slots does it give you? Well, it gives you a maximum total of 5. Oh my god, 5 extra slots for all of those nails, screws and wooden panels. Now you may think it seems unfair, but when you actually start thinking about upgrading, you've done your barn, you've done your silo to the max that you want to. What are you going to do with these items? Well, the tackle box is one area that many people often forget about. And I must admit, I'm one of those people. But not anymore. I'm starting to spend more and more of my expansion materials on this tackle box. Now this image here is my current farm's tackle box. And you can see there I'm up to 150, but I only have 58 items in there because the Derby has been taking a lot of my lures, particularly the red ones, for all of the new fishing activities we've been having. Now I'm enjoying this Derby very much, and by having an expanded tackle box it allows me to store up the fishing lures before the actual event starts, which is quite nice. Okay, I'm going to need one more screw there before I can upgrade again to 155, but that can wait till later. Right, let's move on to the next area I'm going to show you. And here we are at the mine. But why are we at the mine, I wonder? Well, you're about to see. Now if you look at my barn storage, it says 2296, 2297, and the total barn size I have is 2300. And I'm about to fill my barn up, so oh no, what should I do, I wonder? Well, actually it's not going to be a problem, and then this is one reason why I'm showing you with the mine at the moment. Now every time I use one of these mining tools, it reduces the barn capacity by 1. But every time I collect the ores, it moves it back up again and tells me the barn is full. But notice what's happening with the extra ores. They're just sitting there. Now that's the good thing about having a full barn. You don't need to worry about it too much because any items that you're actually making will sit on your machines, or they will sit in front of the mine, or basically they will just stay in the production area where you've been producing them. So you do not have to collect everything. You can use this extra space as another place for storing items, and you only have to take them when you really need them. So keep that in mind when your barn's actually full up and you think, oh my god, I've got to sell them. Now if you want to, you can actually upgrade your barn, and you can see here I need 65 of the items, so bolts, planks and tape if I wish to go up to 2350. And what do I get once I've upgraded? Well, I actually get quite a nice little jump. With the actual tackle box, you saw me jumping by just 5. But in this case, the jump is much greater, and I'm very pleased with that jump. Now the maximum barn size you can actually have is 10,000. This is exactly the same for the silo, 10,000. Now for the tackle box you saw earlier, I honestly don't know what the maximum size is for that one just yet, but I do know someone who has 850, and it will be interesting to see how far it goes. Now if you're looking here, you can see all of the items I've got within the barn, and you can see the actual numbers I've got for the barn at this level. Now this will change, so in a second I'm going to jump to the next level, which is level 87. you'll see that my barn hasn't really changed in size, but the items inside have changed because my goal focus within the game is now different. Ever since the update, I've been concentrating more on the town, so I'm going to start collecting more and more expansion items for the town, whereas in the past it would have been fewer. Now, keep this in mind when you're focusing on one area within your farm or your town or your fishing area. If you are going to expand, don't save too much of all the expansion materials. Only keep the expansion materials for the one that you really want to increase. Use all of the other expansion materials for trading, or you can sell them and get the cash. But the choice is yours at the end of the day. You'll notice there I've got 81 axes and 43 saws, and I'm afraid these kind of items I'm not going to sell so much of because I actually use them a lot, and you'll see why a little bit later. Right, now let's jump to the next storage area, which is the silo. And look at that beautiful silo just sitting there between my crops, and already it's full up. So, again, it's 2,350, and if I wish to get more, I need to get 66 of each of the items. So, nails, screws, and wooden planks there. But I don't have them, so I'm going to have to wait. Now, every time I try to harvest, as you see here, it won't let me. So I need to plant some more crops to allow myself to do this. Now I'm going to show you something very, very interesting here. So I've just reduced the amount of crops within my barn, and I'm harvesting again. And oh my god, but this time the space is much less than it was before. Now remember, you're only planting one, but you're getting two in return. So every time you plant one, you're getting two back, which means that the required amount is filling up your barn much faster. Now you have the option. You can just leave them there planted without harvesting, or you can use them somewhere within your farm, or you can sell them off. I would recommend, if you're at a lower level, not worrying so much about keeping too much in stock. Just basically sell them off, get the money, and then start producing more crops. You can also use these items to produce goods, and then basically get more money that way. But doesn't the silo look wonderful? Now if we jump to the next level again, now the silo is exactly the same, but the quantity within inside the silo, is it the same or is it different? Now maybe there's a variation. Ever since the new derby has again started, the required number of crops that you need to complete the task are quite high if you want to get the most number of points. I would recommend, if you're going to be doing the harvesting tasks, see how many land plots you've got and then keep that number of crops for each of the items that's requested. So then that way, if you need to do a harvest for the derby event, you've got the basic amount in there for each number of harvests required. So if you're going to need 3 lots of harvest, you need basically 1 field's worth of products, then you can harvest it 3 times. Right, now let's move on to another part. Now you're looking at my machines. I did say earlier in the mine that you can leave the items just sitting there. So you can see here, okay, each of the machines has a variety of products there. Now you don't have to collect them, you can leave them there. If you work it out nicely, okay, you'll notice here that the products are a little bit different in some cases, or sometimes they're the same. But if you do work it out nicely and you balance it, then you can put it so that when you do need an item, maybe it's only 1 or 2 down, and then that will then make it much easier when it comes to filling orders. Or if you know that it's a high priority item, you're going to need lots of them, then just make many of that item and just leave them sitting there. This gives you extra storage space within the game, and you do not need to collect them all of the time. Just like with the animals are sitting there. Okay, each one of these is an egg. My barn is full up. I don't have to collect the eggs. I can just leave them there. Now, when I do require them, okay, I need to think, okay, I want to get the eggs, but there's no space to collect them. So you're going to have to balance it sometimes. You're going to have to use some of the items within your barn to actually collect the eggs so you can then use them. So think about that as well when you're actually storing things. Keep items within the barn that you need to use first before you can collect something else. If you're a lower level, okay, don't worry too much about storing items in the barn. You really want to be selling them off and making as much money as you can, so you can then basically buy more items and then sell more, increase your coinage, buy more machines, okay, start saving those diamonds that you get within the game, increase production, which then again allows you to produce more. The more you produce, the more you can sell. The more you sell, the more coins you get. It's a nice old game. Okay, now let's look at the trees and the bushes. Now the trees and the bushes are another great way of actually storing goods. Basically what you need to do is to think about how many trees you want on your farm. I would recommend not doing too many, because once you start harvesting them all, okay, you need a good amount of axes or saws depending on whether they're trees or bushes. Now you've already seen that I've got enough of those. Now how do I get them? Buying them from the newspaper is very rare. Okay, usually you need to get them from Tom. Tom is your best supplier for saws and axes. Many people actually use Tom to get diamond rings or other items to sell and make money. I usually use Tom for saws and axes because I know he gets them more cheaply, and I can then basically use him during his time frame to get those items much faster than I could elsewhere. I'm certainly not going to do the daily dirt deal because the ratio of diamonds to saws and axes is not good. Now, you noticed here that I've only harvested the one area. Now, I tend to do that a lot. Some of my trees and bushes are spare and they're partly decoration. Some of my trees and bushes are what I harvest and collect goods from all the time. But I only ever really harvest when I need them. Every other time I just leave them there. Now if I see these items in the newspaper, I'd rather buy them from the newspaper first before I start collecting the goods from my farm. So if I see berries as an example within the paper, I snap them up as soon as I can, even if it means paying full price, because at the end of the day it's much easier doing it that way than actually getting them from my farm. Now, your newspaper is a really good way of actually getting extra resources. Hunt through it every day, have a look, wait till it refreshes every few minutes and then go back again. Okay, now moving on. Here you can see I've got a golden voucher. Now, once I've claimed this voucher, where does it go? Well, if you look up here in the top right hand corner, you'll see it says coins, diamonds and vouchers. Now here you'll notice I've got the one gold voucher. Oh my god, is that all you've got? Well, the reason I've only got this is because I've been using them at this stage in the fishing area. Now, what I'm not doing now is spending these vouchers on the fishing lures, because I'm saving them for my pets. And this is what I've got at the moment, or I have now, because I've just bought myself a new puppy. But do check in this area. Now, if you want to spend diamonds to increase your vouchers, the choice is yours. But look at the values down at the bottom. That's quite a lot of diamonds. And I must admit, I've never done that. Right, now, looking here, you'll see I've got a penny farthing, a tractor, and I've got a nice Easter basket and an Easter tree. Now, these are ornaments or the decorations for your farm, but where do we keep them? Well, if you see the till down in the bottom left-hand corner, this is where you can find all the ornaments. Now, the Wheel of Fortune will give you ornaments. Sometimes the gift cards will allow you to get the gift packages, and again, you get ornaments. But where do they go when you don't want them? Well, they go here in the shop, and if you scroll down, you can see all of the items that are stored. You can see items that you haven't bought, and you can use coins or diamonds to get them if you want to. Now, once you've actually purchased an item, you keep it forever, and you do not lose it. Now, if you want to get it off your farm, you just click on the object like so, and then up comes this image here, and if you press the box, it goes away to storage, and it's gone. So let's go and have a look. I'm going to keep those three. I'm not going to get rid of them. So 2 holiday trees, many presents there. Okay. Now, we do get special ornaments for events, and this is where they're stored as well. So there's that vintage bike I just got, and that came in a gift package, so I was very, very happy. You'll notice just below there was a picnic mat. Now, that was from a timed event, and basically that came from the summer period. Once you've purchased them, as I said, you don't lose them. Some of the decorations and ornaments you will get lots of them, okay, and you will become sick of it. But don't worry, they will just be stored here. When it comes to those seasonal events, you can redecorate your farm, you can move them around, the choice is yours. Have a look at other people's farms, you can see how they've decorated. I love what people do sometimes. Mrs. Gnome 10, Mr. Gnome 11. Oh, looks like I need another gnome there to make them equal. Girly bikes, okay, 13. Red bikes, 6. Okay. Statues, 15. Oh my god, do I hate those statues. I'm actually hoping one day that Heyday will have some other ornaments that are more interesting within this area. To a certain extent, it becomes a little bit boring having the same ornaments again and again and again. But I must admit, I do enjoy the themed ones. The Halloween ones were wonderful. The winter ones are fantastic. Summer's good as well. Now, some of these are very expensive. They do cost diamonds. But if you save up the diamonds, what else are you going to spend them on besides expanding your production? You can actually get these beautiful items. When we do the events, we get these items as well. So look at that gargoyle. Isn't it wonderful? 2 gramophones now. Yay. I got one of those again recently on the Wheel of Fortune, so I was quite happy. Now, some of these items I haven't bought, or maybe I haven't, they're being used. So I've got 0 kegs according to that, but if I want to buy them, it's only 199 gold coins. Hay bale, I actually have one on my farm, or I can spend 475 gold. Now, you're looking at the tractor here. So how much is the tractor, I wonder? Let's scroll down to the bottom in a minute and find out. Now, I actually didn't pay for my tractor. I got it in a gift package, so I was quite stoked about that. The basket, okay, I purchased. That cost me 45 diamonds. And the Easter egg tree, I actually got that in the last event that we did. So I was very impressed with that as well. Now, I've basically gone through all of the storage areas within the game. Your coins are stored up there at the top. Your diamonds are there as well. You've seen where the vouchers are. This section's the ornaments. You've looked at the tackle box, okay, where you keep your lures and your nets. You've looked at the silo and you've looked at the barn. Now, remember, these places are very, very useful, but you do have to maintain them. You do have to keep an eye on them. Pay particular attention to the barn and silo. You will need to increase those a lot as you progress through the game, but don't try to do both at the same time if you can. Focus on the one, it's much, much easier. And look at that, 1.5 million gold coins for a tractor. Isn't it expensive? Now, in the future, I might start buying some of those statues as well. But which golden statue should I get? Now, let me think about that. Or maybe you can tell me. Okay, that's it for this video. I'm going to say goodbye and happy Heyday to you. Bye-bye.